Yeah. Okay.
Are you sharing?
I'm going to turn on my
or...
camera because I think, and okay, whoever can turn on theirs should, but go ahead.
Okay, can I continue?
Yes, I have turned it on.
Okay. So the first thing on the agenda is introduction of our national executive. So, and I believe they're in the house. So, starting with our president. I know some of us don't even know TYM, so but you will be the one to do the introduction. Maybe I should call him last. Sir, I hope you don't mind I call you last.
It's okay.
All right. So other national executives in the house, can you please unmute and introduce yourself? Thank you. I think I'm saying I'm the last.
Hello, good evening, everyone.
Okay.
Hello, good day.
Can go ahead, please.
Okay. My name is Adebayo Hamdalat Sabiola, and I work with the consultant team of TYM. It's nice being organized and it's nice you guys having me here. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Hamdalat. You're welcome. We are glad to have you here too. So I don't know. I think some of them are still not here. Who else do I have? Okay, let me introduce myself. My name is Robinson Victoria, and I'm the VP2 for TriAfrica Youth Movement. Thank you very much. Others will join us later, so I think the president can introduce himself and give us a brief introduction of TriAfrica Youth Movement. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, good evening, everyone. The beautiful and amazing Amazon of TriAfrican Youth Movement. Yeah, thank you so much for your energy, your passion, commitment, and service to Nigeria. My name is Henry Kentebe. I'm the president of TriAfrican Youth Movement, and this is a movement that promotes political literacy, ethical leadership, active citizens of Nigeria to get involved, equip themselves with knowledge and skills needed to participate meaningfully in governance at the federal, state, and local government level. Our core values are love for God, love for family, and love for your country. We have a slogan that says we have to know more to do more. And we hold we hold our town hall meetings every Friday at 5:30 p.m. Our state directors meeting on Saturday at 8:30 p.m. and our NEC meeting, National Executive Council meeting, on Sunday at 8:30 p.m. So we believe that building a generation of young people should come with information, education, and empowerment so that we can transform our society to what we want it to be. Thank you so much for giving me the opportunity and the time to speak to the Amazons of TriAfrica Youth Movement. Thank you.
Thank you very much, President. Thank you very much for that brief introduction. You already covered everything. Thank you so much. And I think we'll still have you around, depending on the time other national executives come around to introduce themselves, if you don't mind. But however, when we go deep into our, women thing, we'll allow you to excuse us.
I'm also preparing for the joint state directors meeting, so
Okay.
maybe just permit me to just take my leave.
All right, no problem,
Yeah,
sir. Thank you very much for
thank you.
coming. We are glad to have you around.
You're
Thank you so
welcome.
much. Can we give him a thumbs up? Let's send in our emoji to appreciate our president. Let's appreciate him. So quickly, I would love to also go into the vision, what's really bet 12, that's TriAfrica Youth Movement Women Affairs Forum. I want us to quickly have a recap of it. So I will introduce it to us and our responsibility as members. So I'll say that the vision of TriAfrica Youth Movement Women Affairs Forum is to raise empowered, informed, responsible, and purpose-driven women. Please, I want us to take note of the keywords: to raise empowered, informed, responsible, and purpose-driven women who will positively influence their homes, community, leadership spaces, and society at large. So it's not just about governance. It's not just about, because even the governance we're talking about starts from our home. So we are so intentional about that. So it's part of our vision statement. So our vision includes building confident and capable women, encouraging active participation in governance and development, promoting family values and community relevance, raising women with integrity, passion, and leadership capacity, supporting women to become financially and socially empowered. You know, we have just started, we have times that we'll do different kind of empowerment programs, trainings, and all that will cut across all these aspects we have talked about. So it's very, very important that we make ourselves available and we are active on the platform. So our mission statement: to educate, mentor, empower, and support women through leadership development, vocational training, like I said, civic education, digital empowerment, welfare support, and community engagement. So now our core objective is to promote women inclusion and participation with TYM and society. So we are not just here on this platform to participate on 12 alone. We're also supposed to be fully engaged in all TriAfrica youth movements, all our engagements. We are supposed to be active there too. So I'm saying this because there are some of us that didn't join through TriAfrica platforms. Maybe we just, our friends just sent us the link and we joined. So it's very, very important that as you're a member here, you are also part of TriAfrica Youth Movement. Other platforms that we have, you have opportunity to join 2 platforms as a member. You can join the one for your state of residence. You can join the one for your state of origin. So we should be part of that movement, because it was that movement first before we see the importance of also gathering as women, as ladies, as queens and princesses. Thank you very much. So I will just quickly rush through what we need to do as a part of our role as members. So every member of 12 is expected to participate actively, support one another, maintain discipline and respect, promote division of TYM and 12, encourage learning and collaboration, be ambassadors of integrity and positive impact. And we also make contributions. As members, we can give ideas, make our contributions as to how we want 12 and also TYM to move forward, how we can really affect our community, how we can promote good governance, and really, really hold our government accountable. So as individuals, so we have to be intentional about all of this. So we need to be active and get ourselves involved. So we should not just be passive on the platform. And recently we did giveaway. So some more of it will still be coming, but we need to participate. So thank you very much. I hope we're able to get something from this little introduction of 12. Thank you very much. Can you hear me? Can you hear me, please? Hello? Hello? Can
Yes,
anybody
yes,
hear me?
yes, I can hear you from my side.
You heard all I said, right?
Yes.
Okay, okay, thank you very much. Well, I hope you are not the only one hearing me.
I can hear you. Can hear
Okay,
you
thank you.
clearly.
All right, thank you, ma. So I think somebody, another national executive just joined, our VP for growth and expansion. If you are in the house, can you please introduce yourself? Mr. Michael, unmute and introduce yourself, please.
Hello, good evening, everyone. I am Lawal Michael, and I am a member of the TriAfrica National Executive Committee, and I was recently appointed, and I'm joining the meeting to learn more about, our movement and our current position and how we can continually push to achieve our purpose. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, VP. Thank you so much for coming around. We are glad to have you. Thank you. I don't know if we have another national executive that have not called, please. I'm so sorry. In case, can you please introduce yourself? In the absence of any, so I want us individually to introduce ourselves before we go into the matter of the day, before our mommy, our amazing queen, come on board to impact us. So as I want our members to introduce themselves one after the other. So I'll be calling the names as it appear on the call. So permit me if I did not pronounce your name very well. So I will be calling us now. I am seeing Moses Joyce. Moses Joyce. Can you please unmute and introduce yourself? You can tell us your state of origin, your state of residence, and any other thing you would like us to know about you. And you can also tell us if you are part of TYM or you are a new member of 12. Thank you.
Hi, good evening, everyone. My name is Joyce Moses. I'm from Nasarawa State.
Okay.
So I'm part of TYM. I'm not just joining. So I'm very happy to be here with you people.
Thank you very much, Joyce. We are also glad to have you here. Thank you very much. I'm also seeing Fatima. Fatima has always been around. So please unmute and introduce yourself.
Hi, good evening, everyone. Nice to meet you. My name is Fatima Tambual from Sokoto, but currently in Abuja. I am a member of TYM Consult. I serve as the National Secretary of TYM Consult. Thank you and nice to meet you all.
Thank you very much. But you didn't introduce yourself as National Executive when I was calling people. Well, it's fine. Thank you so much. We are glad to have you. Eno, please can you unmute and introduce yourself? Eno, can you hear me, please? Okay. If she's not ready, I'm seeing Ruth. Ruth, can you unmute and introduce yourself, please? In the same format as earlier. Ruth? Okay. Wait, have I not called? Okay. Like some people are not with us. Yeah, they are just with us in spirit. So I think we should just go ahead. Our mommy, our queen, will introduce herself and she will continue from there. Thank you very much. Mrs. Jumoke, you have the floor now. Thank you, ma.
You want me to introduce myself? Can Miss Victoria? You're going in and out. Am I supposed to introduce myself?
No.
Uh.
I've introduced you. Okay, let me just do the formal introduction. So
No,
we
you've
have
done
our
it.
yeah. Let me just do it properly. So we have our mommy in the house, our amazing queen. it was actually from her that the initiative to create our own platforms came up. So she is the VP2 of the TriAfrica Empowerment Foundation. She's also the chief of operations. So she's here in our midst to impact us. She's also the founder of what's it called? Matriarch Circle. Some of us have not heard about that. I invited us for the program we are having tomorrow. So I encourage all of us to also come en masse to that program. So she will tell us more about it, even while she continues with her, training this evening. Thank you very much, Ma. You can have the floor now.
So good evening. So we just talked about the different time differences. I turn on my camera not because I think it's important to be present. So let me start with that. I think we must own the space. We must not be afraid to be present. And for so long, women, we tend to shy away and we think it's humility, but it's actually absence. It is losing power. As a woman, you can be assertive, you can be graceful, you can be elegant, but you can be present as well. It doesn't take away from your grace or gentility. Meekness is a strength. It is not weakness. And we must not confuse meekness as weakness. And I think for us, especially culturally, we take meekness as though we're supposed to be weak. We're supposed to be this helpless people that just need to be saved. So let me start with that as a woman, you are greatness. God has put so much in you. And I say we are the ones most like God because he hid the mystery of life in the belly of a woman. God trusts us enough as women to bring forth life. He can create life. He created life, right? He created the big everything. But when it comes to bringing life into the world, he trusts a woman enough to hide that mystery in your belly, and then you bring forth, and then you now nurture. All these leaders, these men that we are often afraid of, we give birth to them. We nurture them. We make them who they are. So when we have great leaders, it comes from the women. When we have poor leaders, it comes from the women. Because the first influence in everybody's life is a woman. That's your first influence. From when you are a baby, no matter how much your father loves you, he cannot give you breast milk. He cannot feed you. That's the reality of our lives. And that's the power that most women do not understand that we have. That power of influence. And we often use our influence negatively, whether it's through manipulation or deceit. So this is why we are having this conversation as women. You can be strong and flexible. Strong woman doesn't mean you're disrespectful. It doesn't mean that you're rude. It doesn't mean that you're obnoxious. A strong woman is aware of her strength and how to use it. To know that she doesn't need to boast about who she is. She's a strong woman. I want you to think about your mother and how she rules the house, how she influences the house. Not often with raised voice. She doesn't shout her command. She commands with respect and dignity. I was one of those lucky people that grew up with my great-grandmother and my grandmother. And I saw them like run empires, run families with grace and dignity, quietly, with gentility. And my grandmother would say something to us, like she was very industrious. And when we wanted something, she would go and ask your grandfather. And 90% of the time, the money came from her. But she would say, go and ask your grandfather. And when she wants to give us something, she said, your grandfather said, I should give this to you. So as a woman, you can rule your home without diminishing the authority of the man. I want us to get that very clear. So when we are talking about strong women, you are not strong by putting others down. You are strong by knowing who you are and walking in that authority and in that power. That is my opening statement. And I see a lot of our young women, culturally, we've been told, hide, Don't talk. Hide your face so that you are more appealing to men. If you are too strong, no man will want you. If you are too this will not happen. But who are you? Who have you been created to be? To speak quietly is very important, but to speak with assertion is even more important. To be gentle in the way you speak, but to speak with confidence, to carry your message with confidence is very important. Too many times I see our young women, it's almost they are speaking like they are afraid to speak. They are speaking like they need permission to speak. No, you don't need permission to come to the table. You are already at the table. And you can, like I said, you can still speak with gentility, but with power and purpose. And that's what I am encouraging us to do here. Be present in everything that you do. Be present in everything that you do. Someone was asking me a question about my beliefs. I said, I'm not a feminist. I do not believe that what a man can do, a woman can do better. I'm not one of those. I believe that I have been created for something unique and excellent, and I am not in competition with any man. I am on my own path. I will not change tires because I want to show that I'm a strong woman. No, I will not. I will not break my nails to change tires. I'm sorry. I will not repair cars because I want to prove that I'm a strong woman. No, my femininity is my strength, and I celebrate it. I'm not fragile and I'm not weak. I am gentle and I'm strong. That's my message to you as women, as princesses. Princess Victoria is on the matriarch circle. We call ourselves royalty because you must first understand that your royalty is not defined by money. It is not defined by position. It is not defined by anything else but who you understand yourself to be, and that you have been created uniquely for a purpose by a creator who made the heavens and the earth. And you look at yourself, that you have a unique DNA, that is an identifier. So God looked at you, Fatima, and he created you uniquely, that there is no other person, no matter how much they look like you, they are not identical. Even your identical twin is not identical to you. You're unique. So we must first understand our identity and our purpose. Your sole purpose on this earth is not just to get married, have children. No, it's good. Marriage is beautiful. Your sole purpose on earth is to fulfill the purpose for which you were called. You have giftings in you as a woman. God has blessed you, have put so much in you to give to the world. Are you rising up to it? Or are you chasing what the world is saying you should be chasing? I look at Nigeria, and Victoria will tell you, nations around the world where women lead, they first build homes. Whether you are a homemaker, you are just as important as that woman in the market that is selling tomatoes, as that woman that is running an empire. You're just as important because we bring different things to the table. If the woman in the market doesn't sell tomatoes, you are not going to be able to cook and feed your family. That's the truth. If the woman that is running that empire doesn't run that empire, the economy doesn't grow. So we must understand that our unique role, we are equal to one another. There's no superiority because you are running 1,000 billion empire and I'm selling tomatoes. Doesn't mean that I am less than you. We must first understand that and begin to see each other's strength and celebrate it. I know that we complement each other. We don't compete with each other. Men, the world, other women, other things have told us that we're supposed to compete with each other. No, we're supposed to complement each other. When I was younger, I used to watch, maybe about 20 years ago, when they used to have a lot of Nigerian movies. And it was always witchcraft. Like women we gather, they are witches. And I was very curious about it. And one day as I was praying, I was like, where do these people get their power from? And it just occurred to me that it was in their unity. There was no other power they had except in their unity. And understanding that together, they will speak something in that unity, in collaboration, and it will come to pass. It is not the leaves that they called. It was that principle of unity, respect, and understanding the hierarchy. That is what gave them power. And as I grew older, this was in my 40s that I got that understanding. And as I grew older, I started to just work with women. When I'm in a group of women, if we are not collaborating, I leave that group. If it's competition, I'm not supposed to be there because that doesn't make me shine. And I find that when I'm in groups where women, we are complementing each other, we are helping each other, we are supporting each other, we all rise. No one is left behind. That has been my experience, my lived experience. And I started practicing that, unfortunately, in my 40s. And I'm now in my 60s. And I have seen the benefit of it. And it is what I have passed on to my daughters, because everyone that comes into my spiritual sphere of influence is my daughter, is what I pass on to you, that you must understand your strength is in your unity. Knowing that what Hamdalat can do, Fatima may not be able to do it. Victoria may not be able to do it. Joyce may not be able to do it. But collectively, we come with something very powerful. I was on a ship recently, and I was just thinking of the human mind that conceived building that ship. We were living on ship, eating, drinking like I was in a hotel. And I sat on my balcony looking over the ocean. And I said, Lord, this is a human being. Human beings conceive this idea. And I started to think about it. And I realized that, yes, one human being may have had that vision, but it took a mechanical engineer to come up with the engine. It took an electrical engineer to come up with how the electricity is going to be connected. It took somebody else to say, okay, what is the water? It took someone else that was doing steel to say, okay, this is the steel that can float on water. It took different disciplines to come together to build that magnificent thing that we enjoy together. So what do you build together with your different gifts and your different strengths? Being able to synergize it and harmonize it. Because when the world benefits, you benefit. When you build communities, you benefit. You directly benefit from it. When someone tells you, why are you doing so much? Go and build yourself. Yes, you can go and build yourself. But in building yourself, you will be living on your own island, probably in fear, because everybody's going to come to want to take from you. But when you build a community, you all rise together. That is very, very important. When you build a community, you rise together. So look at your group, this women's group. What does Fatima have that we can support her with? Because as Fatima is being built up and empowered, and she knows that a group of women supported her to rise, she's going to have to pass it forward. What does Victoria bring to the table? What does Ruth bring to the table? How can we enable Ruth? Is it, I have marketing strategies that Ruth can use in her business. How can I offer it to her and partner with her for her success, knowing that her success is a reflection of my own as well? Those are some of the things that I want you to think about. I want to project something from our matriarch circle, the reason why it is important that women must rise at a time like this. I want to show you some statistics of where we are. I opened that folder. Give me 1 second. I am one of those, I like to think that I'm technologically savvy, but technology also reminds me sometimes that I am technologically challenged. All right, so let me project this thing to you, why this is important at a time like this. The success and failure of Nigeria, let me tell you a secret, is in the hands of women. Because if we refuse to raise children with values and standards, this is what we have. If we refuse to hold our children accountable from the home, they become rulers that steal, that destroy. And we will be accountable for it because we are that first line of influence in the life of the children, of leaders. We are mothers, we are wives, we are girlfriends, we are sisters to all these people. And no matter how strong men think they are, women have very strong influence on them. And we can speak truths to power. I remember, I have 3 boys. And when we are having conversation, usually if I am assertive and I'm like, they were just like, no, I'm not doing it. But when I like, Farid, do you think, and I bring it in a conversational way, it hits home all the time. When I have, and I'm reflecting, this is a suggestion, let's discuss it. 99.9% of the time, they come back and they tell me, I thought about what you said. Thank you for your advice. I listened and I was like, thank you. How do we present our counsel? Because that's what it is. How do we present our counsel? Do we present it with authority? Do we present it with an air of superiority? Or we present it as counsel? How humble are we in our dealings with each other, with us as women and with men in our lives? Whether it's your boyfriend, whether it's your husband, whether it's your brother, your son. How humble are you in your presentation? So here is the statistics. Can you see my screen? 4% of Nigeria's federal legislative seats are held by women. 4%. 4%. One of the lowest rates in all of Africa and the world. 104 million women and girls in Nigeria, nearly half of the population whose potential shapes this nation's destiny. So whether we want to believe it or not, we are directly or indirectly ruling, whether it's through the men, through our sons, through our husbands, through our boyfriends, through our fathers, whichever way, but we are not coming to the table. 4% are at the table. 37% of Nigerian women participate in the formal labor force versus 59% of men, a gap costing the economy billions. For me, I think that is not even true. I think it's more than 37% in the labor force, whether it's in the marketplace selling tomatoes, selling rice, whatever you see, women, it's more than 37%. Then this one says $12 trillion estimated value added to global GDP if women's equality were fully advanced. Nigeria stands to gain enormously. I don't believe in equality. I believe in equity. And let me tell you what I mean by equity. Equity means equal access to opportunities. Equality is striving for something that is not real. We are not equal to men. Let's disabuse ourselves of that. No. When I mean equal, I don't have the strength of a man, so I'm not equal to him. A man is not equal to me because he cannot carry a child in his belly for 9 months. A man is not equal to me because he cannot be sick and taking care of the house and cooking and taking care of children and multitasking. That's not equality. So I just wanted to be clear to that. The fact that we are not equal doesn't mean that I'm inferior to a man or a man is inferior to me. I'm just saying that we are not equal because we don't have the same things. But equity is access. Do we have access to the same opportunities for me to use my own giftings for the good of my community, of my family? That's what I mean by equity. 90% of what women earn is reinvested into families and communities versus 35% for men. 90%, there is no woman that wants to see her household suffer. If the man doesn't have a job, we will feel him. If the school fees needs to be paid and the man say he doesn't have money, the women will feel it. If your children need something and their father say, I don't have money because I've just paid the rent in the house, we will feel it. That is the power of women. 1 in 3 girls does not complete secondary school. A cycle that mentorship and community leadership can break. That is where you come in. That is where we come in. There are children in your neighborhood that their parents cannot afford school fees. You can spend an hour or 2 hours a week gathering those children together and teaching them what you know. It's very easy. Hold on for me 1 second. If it's just down the street, I remember when we were growing up in the 60s, you know, there we had street lights. Believe it or not, we had street lights that work. We'll sit under the street light, tell stories. That was learning. Today, we move away from it. What is the gift that you have as a woman that can nurture your children, even the ones you did not give birth to? As I told you guys earlier on, I grew up with my great-grandmother and my grandmother on the street, and everybody knew everybody. In the 60s, everybody knew everybody. If I messed up down the street, that auntie, she was not related to me, but everybody was auntie. We know that, right? She will beat me and then pull my ear all the way home. As she's pulling my ear all the way home, my great-grandmother was the one at home. She didn't need to even ask what I did. She would join in the beating because she knew I had offended, I had done something wrong. For that auntie to pull my ear all the way home, after she finished beating me, she would say, oh, yeah, enter the house. And then she would now say, what did you go and do? That is community. That is what we as women are supposed to do. So I'm going to stop here. I know, I love to talk. I can talk from today to tomorrow, but I will stop and I would, be quiet for you to ask me questions, but you must be present. You must be present. Your presence is not oversabi. Your presence is not aggression. Your presence is strength. You must be present in strength. All right. Thank you. Yes, go ahead. My camera went off, so I like to show you. Did anybody have, okay, let me transfer to another device. I think my
So
okay.
can we hear me?
Yes, I can
So
hear
those,
you.
if you have question, please, you can raise your hand and ask your question. Thank you. Okay, I have a question actually.
Go ahead.
So, when you started, you said you gave a story of how your grandma, even your mom will, ask you to go and meet your grandpa for something.
My
even though she
grandmother.
would be the one, your grandmother, even though she will be the one to take most of the responsibility, she will still refer you back to grandfather, see if he is the one doing it. But I feel like that in Nigeria, there are times that a lot of women shoulder responsibility and tend to make men irresponsible. It's kind of. Some men just relax and they enjoy that moment. And some of them, they could do better, they could do more, but they will relax because somebody is, probably covering up that space, and they shouldering the responsibility, and they naturally, even unconsciously, start becoming kind of irresponsible. So how do we balance that aspect? Thank you.
So that's a very important question. It is not for you to cover up for irresponsible or lazy men. That's not what this is about. There are times that opportunities are not always equal, right? And in my own case, my grandfather was well-to-do as well, but it's not, resources are not always easily available at all times, again, because of shouldering responsibilities. Where you know a man, this is not about lazy men. I'm sorry, there are a lot of lazy men. It's not covering up for lazy men. It's covering, it's understanding when men are challenged, and to also be able to give them the respect that covers them in the home. Because you also want the children to see their father as a responsible person. I don't have tolerance for lazy and irresponsible men. I'm sorry, I do not. So I don't believe that women should be covering for them. But again, do you disrespect somebody because he cannot find a job just yet? You know, I live in the US and it's very different. Women are more empowered here. I don't know whether it is a psychological thing or it's intentional to keep the man psychologically down. I don't know. But you find that here, women they get promotions. They are the ones, especially black in the black family. Women are the ones making more money, attaining position of power. That's just the culture here. But you still see the men struggling, trying, but for some reason the system beats them down. Those are the ones that I'm talking about, where you become that helpmate that helps them find their way. I don't believe you should cover up for irresponsible men. Sorry. I hope that answers the question.
Yes, ma. Thank you very much, ma. And let me just allow, I think Amdalat is raising a hand. But Amdalat, please, before you talk, I see men advocating on some things lately, especially concerning their old age, or maybe when their children start giving birth. They find out that most of the time it is the mother that the children give most of the attention to at that period, and the men are left alone. And many a times when the discussion is being raised, probably in groups or in association churches, they always say it's because maybe the father or the man has not been present, not about being present in person, maybe in the life of the children. Maybe that is the cause. That is why at old age they feel lonely, they feel abandoned, and it's just the women. So, and like you said, now you are not saying that cover should be for men that are not responsible or that are lazy. So that it should be for those that we can see that they are really thriving, they are really making efforts, but it's not just the way they are probably expected. So I don't know if that school of thought is true. Why it is like that during their old age for men, that it is always the women getting the attention.
I think it also
just
depends on the mother and the value she has instilled in those children. There was a skit that I saw that kind of counters that narrative, where the woman, she and her husband, the children came on their mother's birthday, bought a car for the mother, built a house and said, "It is you." And she said, "I am not taking it." And they said, "Well, you're the one that did this." She said, "No, I did. I was there. Your father sacrificed so that I could be there for you. Your father had to do 2 jobs to pay your school fees while I was at home taking care of you." So these are some of the sacrifices these men make. And this is what our culture have said, that the man is the sole provider. Only him one. He will pay the rent. He will pay school fees. He will buy clothes. Your money, as a woman, your money is your money. You're not supposed to use it to help the man. So this one man, no, he will go out. Everything that the family needs from A to Z, only him will do it. And you will sit back and be raising the kids. If you don't tell the kids the truth about what is really going on, the kids will think their father is absent. But you still find men that go out, they still make time for their children, whether is their free time. They will use it to bond. So there's a lot of that. The men that are mostly absent are maybe the ones, maybe they'll go hanging out with their friends after work instead of coming home. They don't prioritize their families. I think those are the ones that one references, where if you don't put your family as priority, there is no man that works and labors for his children and his family that his children will forget. I don't believe that exists.
All right, Amdalat, thank you very much. You really answered my question. Thank you. Did justice to it. Amdalat, please, you can ask your question.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you very much, Mal, for the wonderful presentation. I really enjoy every bit of this conversation. Thank you very much, Ma. And I noticed when you were making the presentation, you spoke about discipline back then. How if you did something wrong, they are going to discipline you even before you got home, and your grandma will still acknowledge that there won't be any issue. But right now, especially in Nigeria, like, we thought it used to be that way too for us, but now it's more like if you do something like that for your neighbor's children or anybody around, the flare from the parents, like, don't touch my child, this, that. So I'm wondering, how can we bring this back? How can we correct this issue we are having? Because even online now, you see different people assaulting elderly people and nothing is done about it. People are trying to mind their business. So if you tend to talk or you want to be the person that will correct children in your area now, it feels as if you are doing too much and you're just trying to mind your business so you won't be the only one. So I'm just thinking, how can we bring back this mindset that we used to believe in before? How can we work on that? That's just my question. Thank you, Mal.
Thank you. If I was minding my business, I won't be here and you won't be here. So first and foremost, what does minding your business mean? It means being silent and watching everything go down. No. If we all start to mind our business, we won't be having this conversation. I won't be giving you my time or sharing my own experience with you, and you won't even be here contributing. Is being able to speak your own truth as you understand it, as you know it, not going along with it. When you see something wrong, you say your own. Do they have to take it? No. Do you have to force them to take it? No. You have said your own truth. You have spoken your truth. What is the TYM's logo? Do more and see more, do more. You see what is wrong and how do you correct it within your own sphere of influence. If it is having a conversation with someone, have that conversation. Can you force them to take it? No. Your own is to have the conversation. I talk a lot about all these ostentatious parties that they are doing for little children. When I see it, I will complain. When I mean complain, I will say, this is not right. You are teaching these children a false sense of security. If you are spending 90 million on a 5-year-old birthday, life will teach that child, because that money is not always going to be there. Life will teach that child. I will say my own as I know it and as I understand it, not as an authority that know it all or know everything, but my own understanding. I will share it with you. What you now do with it is up to you. But we have that responsibility to tell each other the truth as we know it. You know, Yoruba people will say alabusi because we are always looking for ways to hide words and don't speak directly. There is nothing wrong with speaking directly in love. If you are looking to correct or convict, not condemn, we cannot speak with condemnation. That is the first thing. We must speak with the intention to bring an awareness or a consciousness of something. So that's where we need that wisdom to be able to present a case that will convict somebody, not condemn the person. When you see something, how you present it can open their ears or close their ears, but always not with condemnation, but with conviction. I hope I answered that question, Hamdalat.
Yes, ma. Thank you very much, ma.
Okay. I don't know if anyone else has questions to ask. So while you are thinking on the question, I have something more like a question too, though. There was this trend in my local community before I moved to Lagos that I observed. I tried working towards it. I even dropped a video recently about it. Is the fact that teenagers, young ladies, maybe because they don't have that future ambition, they don't know themselves, just like you said from the beginning, knowing ourselves and believing in ourselves. I find that they are prone to this early pregnancy or unwanted pregnancy, getting involved in some things that they should not get involved in. So I was trying to look at the root cause, and I discovered that it's more like a repeated thing. Maybe the grandmother, the mother, it's more like a repeated thing, like Yoruba people will say, or something like that. Do you understand? So at times, even when you try talking to some of those girls, some of those teenagers, you find out that your contribution may not really be able to do much because the fault is from their foundation. Fine, you try talking to them, encouraging them, but even back at home, some parents, some women even encourage their children. They will even be some of them will maybe even be the one to call men, to come around their children because the children are bringing gifts home and all of that. No, that thing is more like an hereditary something. They inherited it from their grandmother and from their mother. So I don't know, what can we actually do to, curb those kind of things continuing, that kind of cycle repeating itself among women, among our youth and teenagers. Thank you.
I think it's also the environment, because you will see children from homes where their mother was a prostitute and they will say, lie, I'm not doing that. That is not going to be my route, because they have seen what is possible around them. They have seen that there are other choices. They've seen Madame Victoria and her family. They've seen how Madame Victoria's girls are coming out properly, being educated. They've seen what is possible in their environment. They've seen Hamdalat's children well-dressed, well-behaved. They've seen all these other things around them, even though they are not seeing it in their home, but their environment is teaching them. And that's where they can choose to say, no, what is happening in my own environment is wrong. And they break free. But when they turn to Jumoke's house, it's the same thing that they are seeing in their house that is in Jumoke's house. It's the same thing they are seeing that is in Joy's house. Then they are going to believe that that is the norm. That is how it's supposed to be. We must give them an alternative by our own lives, by living our lives true to power. I was on another platform, I'm Triple Book today, and they were talking about mentorship. The mentorship that have probably shaped me the most are the indirect mentorship. Someone like Mrs. Fumi Ransom Kuti, I never met her, but her influence shaped me. Her influence shaped me, because as the first woman to do this, to do that, I was like, that boldness and audaciousness stood. And so there are so many other influences that indirectly shaped me. There is indirect mentorship. Just looking at how others have done it and what is possible. And this is what I want. Even if the inside is different, I don't know. But what I'm seeing from the outside, I like. I like strength. I like boldness. I like being able to stand out and say, yes, I'm fighting for women's rights. Those are some of the things that have shaped me. I never met her. I never knew her. I'm just fortunate to have known Auntie Yemisi and some Kuti now. Do you understand? So there are a lot of, you are an indirect mentor to someone you don't even know. Someone is looking at you and trying to say, how is Madam Victoria doing it? How is Auntie Fatima doing it? Maintaining dignity and grace, and you are mentoring indirectly. So that's why we must be careful how we present ourselves, because you are influencing someone's life, either positively or negatively, by your actions and by your words, directly or indirectly. I hope that answers it.
Yeah, thank you very much, Ma. It answered it. However, because I'm also thinking about it this, because from same environment, that same kind of setting, they've seen some people come out differently, like you said. They've seen some people come out differently. But one thing I observe is that they don't believe they are sufficient in themselves. They have this mindset of they have to depend on some men or do some things to, to be okay, to be fine, to get money. And that period, what I thought could be the solution was engaging them, probably empowering them, being able to raise at least being able to cater for themselves. At least they should have source of income. They should be empowered, because many of them don't have jobs. They don't, they are just growing up. Some of them are not even learned and all of that. Even some that are in school, they are not serious, because they know that at the end of the day, they might probably drop out or finish secondary school and not further. So, but there are some people from that same environment, from that same locality, that were different. And to me, because I have some of them that are close, example that I talk to, they are not even desirous of, maybe they have it in mind that they wish to, but they are not like willing to pay the sacrifice or take the step as at that time. So that's why I was just thinking, is there something else that can actually be done aside just showing them the example? Maybe something we can do to actually engage them. Thank you.
I think one of the things that we often don't do is ask people what they want. We tend to give people what we think they should have. So I come to you, you're coming to my house, I will cook jollof rice, I will cook fried chicken, cook efo, because I think that is what I should use to entertain you. You are coming to visit me. I don't ask you, would you like to eat when you come? What are you allergic to? What kind of drink do you want? As I'm preparing to receive a visitor, how many of us really ask that visitor what's their interest? We cook what we believe we should give, how we should entertain that visitor. They are coming. We don't ask what they need. How many times can we go to somebody and say, okay, how can I help you? What is your need? Tell me, what is your passion? What is your desire? What is your interest? But we tend to give people what we believe they need without asking them. So maybe it's engaging them first. Engaging them in that conversation to say, I see that you're always around. What's your interest? What's your passion? What would you like to do? What do you see yourself becoming? What's your dream? Do we ask people what their dream is and what their vision is? Maybe that would be one way to really show that, yes, I am interested in you. But let me first understand what your challenges are. Whether purposefully or unpurposefully, I tend to be. I just find myself as a mentor, I didn't even know, because I speak my truth as I know it. And, I was listening, to one of my friends was talking. And I asked her, I said, okay, what would you really like to do? She was like, what do you mean? I said, no, I'm looking for a job. I have to get a job. I said, no. What is your interest? Because finding a job doesn't mean that that's what you really like to do. Finding a job is a means to an end. What would you like to do? What is your passion? What is your interest? And then she started saying, oh, I love this. I want to do this. So I said, then why are you in this field? Because if that's not what you love, if that's not what you're interested in, why are you pursuing that? oh, it's a job. I have to. No, 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 no. Unfortunately, she was able to turn. She went to now get some training in this area, and she loved it. She just blossomed. In her 50s, she blossomed. The same thing about me. I did civil and construction engineering, and I've always been a planner. For some reason, I have that gift of planning. And so I went into project management. I remember my first year out of college, I was working as a site inspector of civil. And I just used to say, what kind of thing is this one? Why am I going to the field with boots? I'm a girly girl. I'm not a jeans person. It was just one kind. After 8 months, my supervisor called me and said, Jumoke, I see you don't really like this field because I will climb into manholes, go concrete. I said, is this what I went to go and study? To go and be doing this manual labor? What's in my spirit? I was 22 then. I did not know how to voice it. And he noticed that I was not happy. This is in America. And he said, why don't you try the office? Be an assistant project manager. This was about 40 years ago. I went into the office. I was an assistant manager, project manager. It was still in the construction area, but I was more helping organize paper, do this, do that. And I just loved it. And I stayed in that field. Because someone noticed. What do we notice around us? Who is a good fit? That's part of our responsibility. Who are those within your environment? Are you noticing what they are struggling with? And how can you help them? By bringing that value in them. Advocacy, I came into advocacy space about 20 years ago. It was a friend of mine that came to New York and said, Jumoke, come, there's this. I've always been a defender of the universe. As a kid, I don't like bullies at all. I would stand up to bullies. Don't talk to that person. Why are you doing that? Short girl. But I hated bullies. I didn't know it was my gifting. He invited me to this forum where they were doing NIDO. And I said, I love what these people are doing. He was like, would you like to get involved? I said, yes. I got involved. I was not just a participant. I was not just a bystander. I was an active participant. So when you get involved, are you coming to take space or are you actively participating? A lot of us come up to take space. Let them just say that I am there. No, you must be an active participant, not a bystander. When you are an active participant, you notice things. So that is what I have to say. Any other questions?
Thank you so much, ma. I don't know, for some reason my phone is hanging. Sorry, do we have more questions before we leave? Some came in a few minutes ago. We have been having amazing time with our queen, our mommy in the house. You know, she has really impacted us this evening. In fact, I feel guilty because this is not something a female gender alone should learn from. I actually thought it we within, but we could have extended it to the male as well. Honestly, thank God it's streamed, so people can have access to it on our YouTube channel, and you know we can all learn. It will be sent to us. We can share within our circle too. So I don't know if we still have questions as regard what has been discussed. She has said a lot as regarding us as women, that we are not women to compete within ourselves or even with men. We are to complement each other, and she talked about equity and not equality, because as a woman, men can't do what I can do. I can also do what men can do. We have our strengths. We all have our strengths and our weaknesses. So we are meant to complement ourselves and not compete with ourselves. So if we have any question as regard that, and or any other thing that we think we can ask for, or about, or even the issue of governance, maybe some of us we are, you know, we wish to, go into, probably politics or engage in governance, and we don't know how to go about it, or we're afraid, and we need, that counsel. You can also ask her. Thank you very much. So if you have questions, we have just a few minutes to the end of this meeting.
Michael has his hand up.
Okay. Oh, sorry, Mr. Michael. I've forgotten there's still a king in the house. Sorry, my bad, please. You can have the floor now. You can ask me.
Thank you so much. I feel absolutely great and excited to be here, even though it is a discussion about women, and we have the demographic here. I think I'm the only man in this meeting. I feel
you are the king in the palace. You are the king in the palace.
Thank you so much, ma'am. So, Auntie Jumoke, I wanted to ask, about your views on the subject of, equality, or because you made mention of equality of opportunity, which I believe cannot be overemphasized in our society. It is really important for us to have, equal opportunities. Nobody is bigger than the other person, regardless of your age, your gender, your religion, and your culture. We are all equal, and we should be treated equal before the sight of the law. And then I also wanted to ask about the subject of equality of outcome, because I believe that is one of the most dicey subject of discourse when we, engage the subject of, like physical manifestations in our society of who gets what, when, and how. I'll give much more context. Say, for example, within the political space, during the course of this meeting, you shared a presentation on we have 4% of women in governmental parastatals, and we believe that number should be more. I personally believe that in the matters that pertain to governance, we need all hands on deck. We need everybody. Everybody is needed because our strengths are not the same. One person can do what the other person cannot do, and we need everybody. Nevertheless, it's still something that not just anybody, though. We need people that are very, very competent. And then the subject of equality of outcome, we start hearing things like, oh, just give them because they are not there. But then the subject of, optimizing for excellence is also there, that you just give anybody just because they are not there. And then you sacrifice having somebody that might be able to perform much more optimally. Then how do we strike that balance? And that's the question. That has always been the question for me, because I believe everyone should be given the opportunity, and we need all hands on deck. I love the vision of the TriAfrica youth movement because it captures everybody into that movement. Everybody. Personally, I see it as a mission, like a missionary work. Everybody around me, I start telling them, you have to join this. You cannot be fostering or talking about just social activities and one celebrity and not be concerned about the affairs of the nation. But then when it comes to the issues of who gets what, how can we still optimize for this, excellence whilst including everybody there? Thank you very much.
Thank you for that question. And if I can use my experience in the space of diversity, equity, and inclusion, I don't use the word equality. I use the word equity. So we all need to get to this level. We all need to get to a fence. The fence is high up, right? The fence is 6 feet tall or 6 feet high. I'm 4 feet. This Hamdalat is 5 feet 6 inches. So Hamdalat's access to be able to reach that 6 feet fence is not going to be the same as mine. I need a 2 feet stool. Hamdalat needs a 6-inch tool to be able to reach that 6 foot fence. We must understand the limitation of everyone and the access that they need to get to that level. That's what I mean by equity. So resources will be different. How you share the resources is to where it is most needed. If you go and give resources to someone, if you go to let me use a more realistic analogy. Healthcare centers. We have healthcare centers around the communities. There is this one in Ikeja that is not staffed. It serves 200 people. Then there's this other one in Bagada that serves 80 people that is not also fully staffed. You cannot give them the same number of beds and equipments for it to mean anything. If you give the one in Bagada 50 beds, you've already solved their problem. If you give the one in Ikeja 50 beds, you have not solved their problem. Because Bagada can manage with 50 beds because all they have to worry about is another 30. So that gap is less. It has reduced. But the Ikeja that is catering to 200 people, you've only given them 50 beds. They still have to worry about 150 beds. So that's where we must assess where the needs are. I don't believe in giving people opportunities just because. No. Assess, there are qualified women amongst us that can go. How do we identify them, support them to be there? They are policy makers. Whether it is the woman that is selling rice, that has the knowledge and has the support, that has the vision, the intellectual capacity, not necessarily the educational capacity. Intellectual capacity is different from educational capacity. We must first also distinguish that. Identify who has intellectual capacity to be able to do things, because those that have academic capacity do not necessarily have intellectual capacity. So those are the responsibilities that we have to assess what our needs are and then provide the resources, those gaps. So the woman that has the intellectual capacity but not the educational capacity, is it English training that she needs to be able to get to rise and get to that place? Then that's what we give her. That's what we support her with, because she has intellectual capacity but not educational academic capacity. That is our responsibility. We cannot put round holes in square pegs, or we cannot put square pegs in round holes. We must put the right pegs in the right hole, in the right shape. So that's part of our own responsibility, identifying those needs and bringing the resources to help meet those needs. That's what I meant by equity as opposed to equality. I hope that answers that question.
It does, but that was absolutely spot on. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Michael, for your question. Thank you so much. That was an amazing question, and it was actually answered by our queen. Amdalat, your hand is still raised. You still want to ask question or say something? Amdalat.
Yes.
Okay,
yes,
you can go ahead, please.
Victoria, regarding what you just said, like the governance and political parts, that
Alhamdulillah, your audio, is it me or is it her audio that is going out?
of Nigeria, Kaduna State to be precise. Hello, ma, can you hear me now?
Can you repeat
Yeah,
yourself?
sorry, it was my, I think my audio went out. Sorry.
It's from her, I think.
Oh, okay.
Because I couldn't hear her too.
Okay.
So can you just take it again, please? Thank you.
Okay. Can you hear me?
We can hear you, but it's kind of breaking in and out. Oh, she left. So I haven't heard from Ruth and I haven't heard from Fatima. Ruth and Fatima, we haven't heard your voice.
Hello, I'm back now. Please, can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yes, we can hear you now.
Okay, thank you very much, ma. I said I reside in Kaduna State. That's the northern part of Nigeria, Zaria to be precise, and it's kind of ancient to some extent. And the politics and governance of the country, it's kind of restricted to the men. Women don't really participate that much. So to some extent, I do find it kind of hard, like, to even, because once they don't even want to have communication, they don't want to communicate with you because they see it like a taboo or something. So due to your experience, I'm just asking, how can I bridge this gap? How can I work with them, and how can I just balance this difference, since I'm in the northern part of Nigeria? That's where I stay. Thank you, ma'am.
So that's navigating cultural and religious barriers as well, right? So the men may not want to engage you directly, but there are some men that will be your allies. There are some men that are in alignment with your thinking. Those are the ones you must find. And then the women too. There are some women too that are also your allies. Expend your energy on those that you can easily win. Do not expend your energy trying to convince those that are on the other end of the spectrum. So you put your group, that's part of mapping. They call it mapping. You put your group in the persuadables, those that are easily persuadables. You put, then there are the unpersuadables, and then there are those in between. The persuadables, you don't need as much energy that's for them as you did for the in-between. So focus on the in-between, those that are persuadables, right? Those that are in between. Develop your strategy to convince them to win some over to those that are already in alignment with you. Don't even look at the non-persuadables, because there's nothing you can do. Acrobats, those ones you will not win them, but you can win the ones that are in between. So understand, identify your allies, those that are like-minded, that you know that once you get engaged with them, you know they will come along with you. Then those that are in between, you develop a different strategy. And then how do you now bring everybody together like-minded? So it could be, is it a presentation that you know that when you go to the market, if you dress up and you use hijab, it's black, that's when they are going to receive you more. Then you use hijab. You wear your hijab, you cover yourself. You have that conversation. If that's what's going to open the door to you, you go, you have those conversations, share it. And when you see that they are not buying, you move away, you move to the next one, until you get those ones that you can build that coalition with. That is the key. No matter how archaic people are, there are one or two people there that God has put there to say, okay, this one I will think differently. It is your job to identify those ones. And then give yourself time. Give yourself time. There's a lot you also have to learn about them. What do you need to understand about how they operate? Put that behind you, and then you go. Because sometimes we go with our own strategy, not understanding that our strategy must be customized to our audience. How I'm speaking to you now is going to be different from how I speak to my queen mothers. That's the reality. My audience, it's tailored for my audience. Your strategy must be tailored for your audience and for what you are expecting to get. That's why it's called strategy. Focus on what are you hoping to achieve, then build your strategy to achieve that. I tell people I don't fight wars that I do not win, because it's too costly. I have to assess the war before I go into it. If I know there is a war that I'm going to be defeated, I will not fight it. Because why? I can be hurt, I will lose my resources, I will lose my power. So why would I now go and fight a war that I cannot win? I only fight battles that I can win, because I have that strategy to win the battle. That's part of mapping. That is military strategy. They would have calculated everything. If I hit this place, if I hit their reservoir, everything, I got them. That is where we must be strategic. Map the area, figure out what the needs are and how you can address those needs. That's what I would like to. And then believe that there is nothing you cannot do. The first no doesn't mean that it's always going to be a no. Resilience is very important. You say somebody, you go to the person, you talk and they say no. It doesn't mean that in another week it's still going to be no. Repackage yourself. Maybe the way you package it the first time that you got no, by the time you repackage it, it could be a maybe. Then you have to also know when to go back on that maybe to get your yes. It doesn't mean that tomorrow, hounding is very different too, because me, if you hound me, you will not get anything from me. That's just my own style. If you leave me alone to think about something and come back later, there's a chance you'll get it from me. So you have to know who you are dealing with, understand their traits, their personality, their character. That's emotional intelligence. Who you are dealing with. Survey them, figure them out. Understand their psyche, how they think. If it's someone that likes to be praised, what is it going to take from you to, good evening, sir, how are you doing today? Just wanted to reach out to you. If that's the person, if that's what makes them tick, you know what you are trying to get. If it is someone that is like, hey, yo, bro, how are you? Is yo, bro. If he's a cool guy that likes to feel hype, then you hype him with a coolness. If that's all strategy, flexibility in your approach is very important.
Thank you. Thank you so very much, Ma. In fact, we really learned a lot tonight. And, as we were talking, there was something I wanted to say, but as if you just read my mind, because I can understand what she's trying to say. There was a time I was in Zaria too. And, I wanted to start with saying she can start with her environment, first of all. Be friendly in your own environment, because the influence you are able to make in your little circle will also expand with time. If you are the type, maybe once you go out, you come in, nobody even knows you. You are just you maintain your line, you are not relating with anybody. It's very difficult. I remember there was a time, in fact, this one is even more difficult than trying to even talk to people that are around you. When it comes to religious, what have you, there was a particular area that I went to one time. They were saying the imam is so difficult. He will not even allow you. He will not do, and it wasn't like I was wearing hijab. I was just on my jean and my polo. And when I got there, I was smiling and I was, greeting them the way, oh, can I help you with this? They were just looking at me like, where is this one coming from? I'm like, I'm sure this one is not from this environment. The way I was friendly. And that same imam ended up saying that, I want to have the number of your pastor, that there's something about this lady. So making herself involved in that environment, let them feel you even before you start vying for that political what have you, that maybe the thing you want to do. Make impact in your own little way, maybe impacting the children, teaching them one or two things. From there you get to their parents, you become friends. In fact, sometimes it's the children that will tell the parents about you. No, there's this auntie that used to take us, she's this, she's that. So that too can help. We can have that mutual relationship with them, and with that, before you know it, they will even be the one advising you. Why don't you take up this role? Why don't you do this? So thank you very much. We are really blessed having you tonight. So on this note, I think we bring the meeting to a close. I don't think there's any other person that wants to ask a question. You were saying the other time we've not heard from Fatima and Ruth. I think Fatima and Ruth. We've not heard from you. Can you just say something? Maybe just tell us how you feel about tonight, and let's call it a day.
It's a very nice presentation. I really appreciate, and we hope we'll continue this every week. And we hope that many people come and join us, because the big number of people that are attending, only 6 people. It seems like they are not even serious about this kind of presentation or something. I don't know. And besides, there have been told that the presentation is going to take place this week, which is 5:30. So I don't know why all of them are just keeping quiet, or they just don't want to be active, or they are no more interested in this. We don't know. But we thank you very much for your time.
Thank you. Let me also encourage you. Don't look at the numbers. Do not look at the numbers. Looking at the numbers is a distraction. Day your day, focus on your lane. You'll be amazed that it will be just the two of you that will make it work and people will follow. They are leaders and they are followers. Followers will always be followers. You cannot make them leaders. That's the reality. So understand that and then focus on being the best that you can to lead with influence. Once you start leading, they will follow. So if you are present, you're present. And we tend to look at the numbers more, but sometimes the numbers is really an issue because they will be pulling you in 20,000 different directions. But that small core that maybe establishes the value and builds the foundation is very important. Look at the founding fathers that fought for independence. How many were they that fought for the Nigerian independence? So I encourage you, just focus on building your own leadership. You are a leader, you're present, and others will follow. No, numbers can be a distraction. It doesn't take a crowd to make things happen. It just takes a few committed people. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you, everybody. I really want to appreciate everyone for making it to this meeting tonight. It's such an amazing moment. Like Fatima said, it's a pity some people didn't attend. How I wish, in fact, the whole world can even hear what you have learned this evening. It's something that some people pay to hear, and we are getting it free of charge. So we want to appreciate our mommy, our queen in the house. Thank you so much for the impact. Thank you for making out time for us. I know your schedules are so tight, but out of no time, you created time to address us this evening, and we are so grateful. And Mr. Michael, thank you so much for joining the call tonight. In fact, your own contribution too are so valuable. In fact, we can't, it's good that you are here. And I also want to appreciate the president in absentia. He was also here earlier to introduce TYM to us. And I want to encourage our princesses in the house. The platform will try as much as possible to make it active. In fact, there are times we just do things to, try and make people come on board. So please, I encourage us, like my mommy said, don't let us look at the number. We that we are active, let's keep the good work. And I see God taking us places. Thank you very much. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you so much. Good night. Have a good evening.
Ma, thank you very much.
God bless you. We hope to see you guys tomorrow
I believe
on
you can
the
have access to
Patriarch
the
Circle.
YouTube link.
Yes, I'm going to send the YouTube link to you now, Victoria. I'm trying to look for it. So yeah, I'll send it to you.
All right, ma'am. All right.
All
Thank
right.
you very
Bless
much.
you.
Good night,
have
everybody.
a good night. God bless.
Yeah.
Bye.
And you too, ma. Good night.
Good
Good night. You
night.
can unmute and say